Today on A Commonly Good MTG, we're going back to a domain deck, 4-color domain, 4C domain. If you've been playing Magic for a while, you've probably seen this deck. You're probably familiar with it. So we're going to be playing it again and have a good time. If you are new to Magic the Gathering Arena, welcome to one of the best decks out there, and it's starting to make a comeback again. And if you're interested to see how you can take a bunch of disparate land types and turn it into money, then this is the deck for you. So good luck, everybody. And if this sounds interesting to you, stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I am your host. And if this show isn't entertaining enough for you, then please make sure to write your local congressman. Dr. Yukon Suck It! Yes, thank you! Filmed before a live studio audience. Thank you so much! Yukon Suck It! Word to your mama. So I'm broadcasting to you today from my secret underground headquarters, and I'm bringing to you a deck I found over on Untapped GG. Yeah, I was just kind of looking to see what stuff had been doing well, and I saw that in the top tier decks, like it was probably like, I don't know, top like 15 or 16, 4C domain. I went to go see what was in it. Yeah, there we go, 4C domain. We played it before. I played it like it was big, like a year ago, and here it is coming back. It's being played with a vengeance. And so I found somebody else's deck that had been doing particularly well today. His name is, what is it here? Neves. Neve. That's whose deck we're playing. So we're playing Neves 4C domain, also called Domain Ramp. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the cards in this deck. We'll talk a little bit about how this deck should work, and then we'll go out and we'll crush some hopes and dreams. What do we got? Up the Beanstalk. Basically you draw cards. Spelunking gives all of your slow lands haste, essentially. This guy, it puts out land and then is pretty decent once you have 7 lands in play. Archangel of Wrath is lifelink and flying and can do up to 4 points of damage if you got enough mana over the top of the 4 costs to pay for her. We got this one puts out 2 mana. So we've got and let's see, I think this one allows you to put out mana as well. So you can see this is our ramping capability here. Herd Migration also allows you to go get a land and put it into your hand. Not a whole lot of super fast ramp situation here, though. This is kind of old style, so I'm surprised that we're playing it this way. I think I've seen some better ramping that might work better in here recently with some other decks. What else we got? We got Sunfall for wiping the board, because guess what? We're going to be slow. We're going to be slow coming in, and we're going to use Sunfall to wipe the board at some point when we got at least 5 mana. And then we got Leyline Binding for pinning things down, Virtual Persistence for killing stuff and gaining some life, as well as then at 7 being able to put it out and start grabbing dudes from graveyards and putting it right back into the battlefield. Herd Migration, you can put out, if we got 5 different kinds of lands, then we can put out 5 3/3 beast tokens, which is fantastic. And Atraxa, we pay for 7. We just need to have 4 different types of colors of mana to be able to cast her. At which point then we can go back in and start grabbing more stuff and then paying for it, because we'll have at least 7 mana at this point. This guy puts out Might Babies. This one allows us to protect angels, is what I usually pick with it. Bunch of tri-lands that are all of a particular type. So you had Swamp, Mountain, Forest, Plains. That all counts towards domain. That's where the domain comes from, really. But plus we do have islands, plains, swamps, mountains, forests. It's all good to go right there. All right, so that's it. That's our deck. What are we doing with it? We're trying to get out as many land types as possible so that we can make Leyline Binding as cheap as possible. Herd Migration put out huge dudes. Being able to start pinging people with Archangel of Wrath. And getting out Atraxa, which allows us to go back and get other stuff to pin things down, wipe the board, or put out other Atraxas. And Atraxas are really hard to get rid of unless you have creature removal, which I guess isn't too hard, but being able to put out more Atraxas after that is a great way to just grind somebody down. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And trust me, we've seen this before. It works great. So let's get out there and do some damage. But before we do, let's do as we do every night. Let's say our prayers and talk about what is best in life. Hands together. Dear Black King Toxrill, who dwells within the dark chambers of my heart, please hear my prayers and grant your blessings as we attempt to crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and to hear the lamentation of the women. We're playing against BlueGlance. BlueGlance. Those are two words put together. Nothing quite as majestic as Suck It. He's going to come after my stuff. Oh, I just put up more than that? No, what are we going to do there? Alright, number one. Let's get rid of the Hand Hater. Well, I am totally not feeling it as far as board wipes are concerned. Two. All right, there's an Atraxa. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Need 7 to be able to get anywhere great with that. You want him back, huh? Don't make me do it again, suckerfish. All right, let's do a little black, because I'm sure I don't have it otherwise. Do I? I got them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we win. Victory! All right, we're playing against Glitterbug. You know it's the Glitterbug. We got the Glitterbug. All right, and keep. Going boom, boom into our night. Alright, we can throw a Beanstalk next turn if we want to. But we're not in any hurry. That's a very nice looking land. All chaotic and awful. Alright, go get me a land there, Stompy. Let's go over something we won't pull otherwise. Let's pull... Let's see what we do have here. We'll pull black because we're going to grab this time. Except I got a black right on me there. Let's get the blue. Alright, so our big goal here is Sunfall. Do I have 2 whites? Alright, so you're going to counter me, getting rid of my Virtue of Persistence forever. He did. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, Invasion of Zendikar. We'll lay down the final 2 for Atraxa to hit out. Alright, I can still take this guy out on his turn. Alright, you gonna counter? He's just returning it. Alright, good for him. Hopefully I don't have to get rid of anything. I mean, that was our time to get rid of it. I don't care. Red and white. Let's just do it. Oh, look who it is. Let's crack this one open. He doesn't have any mana. But he does have Vigilance and Haste. Alright, we're good. I just gotta watch out. I gotta dance around his ability to counterspell. Cool. You have haste, my friend. Alright, that's just wrong. What happened there? Oh, he's got Vigilance and Haste. He doesn't have reach. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, we got a bunch of guys. No attacks. We got a Tolarian Terror. Problem is I got the ability to wipe the board, but I guess I can always go get more of these domains if we need to. You're returning your own guy. Cast it again? Nope, he's bouncing his own guys back. Cool. And we win! In your face, Glitterbug! In your face! Alright, we're playing against Coach Diver. Coach Diver. Keep. I don't think we have any caves. This will help speed things up if we get to there. Basically, we're not good at super aggro. There's Chomper. How you doing, Chomps? Come on down. All right, number 2. Spelunking should help make sure everything's giving us hasty lands, essentially. So I think that's our number 3 card. Pay attention to the game, Chomper. I know you're not mine, but you're just looking around. All right, we got Gruul. Is this guy trying to play that the type where he gets the Virtual Strength? He's going to go to double super overtime. We're all just fighting to build up a bunch of land to put up with. All right, if we want to get to Atraxa, the problem is that she's 7. Let's see, we got a white. Let's just pick one more white because we usually need it. And let's go for green. Up the Beanstalk. Pulling another land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. He wants to draw cards so badly. What do we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just go for more land. Why not? I don't think he's got any creatures in there. We don't have any creatures, so Virtue Persistence is not going to help. All right, that was our choice. We just got to do Atraxa up. We would like to have... Oh, we didn't get anything great there. It's not going to protect us from anything. Another one of these guys, sure. 2, 3. That's it, up to 3. This Stomper out again. Go black this time. All right, we got a lot of land, a lot more than he has. We got an Atraxa out. He's got to pop up to 7. He wants to kill her off. We can Leyline Bind his Virtue of Strength. He's going to hate that. Red, black. All right, he's down to 9. He's got to do something this turn. I'm going to leave things open so we can Leyline Bind. All right, pass. My turn. Let's just go get him. And we win. That's what you get. Your rope and jerk. Victory. All right, we're playing against Pat's Road 1. All right, this is one of those guys that's going to try to get out the Virtue of Strength, which means we just have to Leyline Bind those when they come up. And there it is. All right, we got the beanstalks. Let's turn off that dragon. Yeah, Boseiju will take out nice stuff too. We can really penalize this guy. Okay, we're building up towards 7. That's our magic number. And nope, we're good. Just take it out. He doesn't have the mana to grab her now, so that's good. He's wasting the old-time explosion. That's good for us. All right, let's put out Mirrex. That's fine. There's 5. What are we getting rid of here? A lot of land. You don't need as much, so we're okay. One, two, three, four, 5. I think I need to Sunfall that guy out of here. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. We need to get up to 7. Maybe keep Boseiju around, taking out artifacts. All right, so I don't need the invasion. I'll tell you what, we'll get rid of, that invasion. Gone. Put out another land. What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not good enough for us. We're going to have to discard something. I don't want to get rid of these. Let's just get... end our turn. Get rid of one of those. Alright, he's going to try to go ahead and put out the Virtuous Strength again. Got a couple little dudes I got to pop out on his turn. You gonna kill it? I got another guy to pop out. Another baby. Activate. Let's send these guys in. The other guys are not hasty. Go get them. And a lot of lands. All right, is he going to be able to wipe the board? That would be a thing he needs to do. I know he wants to pull the trick where he comes at us with like 1 billion mana. He wants to put out his Virtuous Strength. If he does that, I will just kill it. And we win! 22 life, and he potty pantses. Victory! Alright, we're playing against Spidey. Alright, we got some control. That's not bad. Keep. We got a little black right there. Alright. Leyline Binding. Let me guess, you're going to take Virtue of Persistence? I don't have any white, so none of the other two are going to do me any good. Let's see if we get him to... Yeah, we got him to take it. That's great. There, now I'll have it back. Tricked him! Alright, got out slow, but we do have access to Leyline Binding on our next turn. This guy better not try to rush. We got to take this guy out, unfortunately, because otherwise he could potentially combo us to death. I have 2 whites. No, I don't. Alright, so Sunfall's out of the picture. And Archangel of Wrath. Don't take the invasion, man. That's my only hope. One, two, three, four, five. What do I got here? I need blue? How about black? Now we're good on black. If I go steal creatures, it's just deep cavern bats. Alright, you got a counterspell. Apparently not. Or nothing that won't let me do it this other way. As in, I override with mana. Atraxa. All right, the question is, should I put Herd Migration out? Because that is the kind of in-game threat that kind of finishes things off. All right, down to 8. She's got lifelink. Let's just do it. All right, we're going to grab Leyline Binding. That sounds perfectly good. Another Sunfall. Boseiju and Topiary Stomper. That's a flash. That's a good one. And I've got 3 available. Just take it out now with one of these, can't I? Alright, gone! I can't do anything to protect her. So she's just dead. And you're in the graveyard again, man. You are exiled. All right, we're down to 4. All right, we're loading up our stuff. We're at 4 life, though. Archangel of Wrath would be great, but you never know what we're going to run across. I obviously thought I was going to go after my battle. You're packed up? Okay, we can do Virtual Persistence. I just know Herd Migration is probably going to be our best choice. I'm down to 2. All right, he's at 15, and we got 17 on the next turn. You saw that he was going to rush us. All right, that's it. And let's go get him. To the face. And we win! Boom, boom! Goes the room. All right, so we are with 4 color domain, and you know it's been a great deck for a long time. It continued to be a good deck. The interesting thing was playing against this current meta. I could see where it had its problems, but it holds out, especially when you can finally get up to your 7 mana threshold and just start laying it down. I kind of feel like there's other versions of decks, maybe Discovers, that do a better job at 7 mana. Because the problem with the Atraxa is, yeah, you get to go get a bunch of good stuff, but it all goes to your hand. You don't get to go straight into the battlefield. And I prefer my stuff to be a little hastier, and that's what Discover did that I liked quite a bit better. Still, domain and getting discounts for having lots of different stuff out, or getting extras because you got a lot of different kinds of mana types out. Yeah, that was all good. Problem with this deck is it was slow to build and everything, and you just couldn't go up against aggro. Aggro was our Achilles heels there. All right, so let's see. Which card was the MVP? Who was the MVP of this deck? Most valuable player. To me, it was probably Invasion of Zendikar, is what I'm thinking the deal was. The reason why is because it helped go from 4 to 6, that's exactly what it does. You have 4 mana, you put that card out, suddenly you got 6 mana. And while you really needed 7 mana to make everything go nuts, still, that jump up to 6 really just got you so much closer. So being able to put out 2 mana and then having a relatively cheap battle you can crack open to get yourself another guy, which happens to be a mana guy, it provides you with a lot of value. So technically, it does get you up to 7 mana if you can crack this guy open. So it's still slow. It's not fast anyway. Like these guys come into play, tapped. When this guy comes into play, you get it after the attack. but he's got he's got haste. So you can actually use him for his mana immediately if you had to do it. But more likely, yeah, it means you could play Atraxa at the end of your turn, which you probably want to do anyway. So yeah, it's got its thing. It's just Invasion of Zendikar is a lot of value with the potentially giving you up to 3 mana sources. So yeah, good for you, Invasion of Zendikar. For a battle, you are a gentleman and a officer. All right, so let's see. Was this deck competitive? I played it in the play queue and in the ranked queue. In the play queue, I had 100%. I had 100%. No problems there. I played this in the ranked queue. I got 50%. So yeah, the big problem is when I got into the ranked queue, I started going up against aggro, and they could easily get me down below 10 by turn 3. And by turn 3, I couldn't even get out Topiary Stomper, because most of my cards were incredibly slow and came into play tapped. And then I needed to get to 5 before I can really wipe the board. I could pick things off with like Virtue Persistence and Leyline Binding. That was my only hope. But even then, I wasn't able to start doing anything until at least turn 3, turn 4. So yeah, aggro is this deck's Achilles heel, as we talked about. Still, it was a very competitive deck. It was worth playing. I'm not sure that it's going to do well past, I got it out of what was probably a mythic area. It supposedly had been doing very well today. So yeah, I got to say it's got to be a competitive deck. It doesn't feel like it's competitive enough just because it can't take out aggro. Problem is that this deck just bundles it together. And at the end, you're just throwing down threat after threat after threat. You throw down that herd migration, you have 5/3/3s. Most people are like, if they don't have an actual board wipe, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They pick off 1 or 2, and then they still have like 9 points coming at them. And what are you doing right after that? Putting out another one. It's no problem for you because you're just rolling in mana. You got the Sunfalls putting out little pod babies. You got Virtual Persistence bringing things back from the graveyard. What do you bring them back? Topiary Stompers and Atraxias. Angels of Wrath. It's all great stuff. There's lots of other things you can do with Domain, but this is a really good shakeup. This one doesn't have any blue in it, which is what I appreciate because I'm not a big fan of counter spells. But there was a different version that was actually on the meta list for the top tier list that had 4C in it, and it was playing more counter spells, at least 2 sets of them. I saw that, and I had to choose between this or the other. I said, no, I'm going to play this one. All right, so I'm going to say yes, it is a competitive deck. Number 2, was this deck fun? I don't particularly like spending all my early game trying to get mana. I'm not a big ramp guy. Do I play it a lot? Yes. Do I like ramp when it mixes together with other stuff? I do. That's why I like Topiary Stomper because of the art. I hate the fact that you can't use them until you have 7 mana. That is ridiculous. I kind of wish you could be a little bit more active earlier. We don't have any like fight cards to use them with, nothing like that. So Topiary Stomper is almost a giant turd in our hand for the vast majority of the time. Yeah, this deck is so about ramping. It just takes a long time. So that early game, it's not as fun as I'd hoped for. But at the end, the big problem is that you can only play like 1 card per turn because everything costs 7 mana. And, you don't have 14 mana. What are you going to do? So, still, when you throw guys out, it's a huge impact on the game. It's a lot of fun to get. Like, I think really Virtue Persistence is probably the one card I'd like to play the most, just because at that point I could start stealing their guys who are probably going to be better at playing in an aggro kind of way, late game kind of situation. I can't bring out too many Atraxas. Angels of Wrath are great. I kind of wish I had a little bit more life gain in here because sometimes I'd be at like 4 or 5 life by the time this deck actually starts going. So it's a fun deck, but you got to like this kind of fun. It's not an aggro player's deck. Let's put it that way. All right. So was this deck interesting? All right. The problem with this deck for me is that this is an old deck. We got some cards in here that are fairly new. What is it that's new in here? Spelunking is probably the newest card in here. That's from Ixalan. We got a few cards in here from whatever Fairy Tale Land was called. But other than that, this stuff is getting old at this point, at least a year old. And so this is a deck that's been around for a while is what it feels like, which is some fairly new things from a couple sets ago. And I would say, therefore, it is not interesting because it's an old deck that we've seen 100 times before. But it's been long enough that it's starting to make a comeback. And if you're relatively new to Magic Online, Magic Arena, then welcome to 4C Domain. It's a fantastic deck. You do have to start drafting some big cards from older sets to put it together. The key here, you don't really need Atraxa, but with all the mana you're throwing down, why not, right? Why not? All right, so there we go. Let's add that up. Was this deck competitive? I'm going to say yes. Was this deck fun? I'm going to say yes. Was this deck interesting? I'm going to say no, unless you haven't really played it in a long time, in which case, yes. Just because it's different than a lot of the other things you see in the meta right now. All right, still, I'm only going to give this deck an A-, just because I'm too aggro. I've seen this deck enough in the past, and the 50% in Mythic, in Platinum, just wasn't enough to really float my boat. But still, I think it's a really good deck. I think it deserves at least an A, so we'll give it an A-. All right, there you go, an A- deck. If you decide to play with this deck, I hope that you have as much fun with it as I did. All right, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. See you next time, Space Cowboys. Later.